First, if you receive a mandatory E-Verify bill only without legalization, are you planning to veto that bill? And second, on Fast and Furious, members of Congress and the government of Mexico are still waiting for answers. Are you planning to replace ATF leadership, and when can we expect the results of the current investigation?
On the second question, as you know, my Attorney General has made clear that he certainly would not have ordered gun running to be able to pass through into Mexico. The investigation is still pending. I'm not going to comment on a current investigation. I've made very clear my views that that would not be an appropriate step by the ATF, and we got to find out how that happened. As soon as the investigation is completed, I think appropriate actions will be taken. With respect to E-Verify, we need comprehensive immigration reform. I've said it before, I will say it again, I will say it next week, and I'll say it 6 months from now. We've got to have a system that makes sure that we uphold our tradition as a nation of laws, and that we also uphold our tradition as a nation of immigrants. And that means tough border security, going after employers that are illegally hiring and exploiting workers, making sure that we also have a pathway for legal status for those who are living in the shadows right now. We may not be able to get everything that I would like to see in a package, but we have to have a balanced package. E-Verify can be an important enforcement tool if it's not riddled with errors, if U.S. citizens are protected, because what I don't want is a situation in which employers are forced to set up a system that they can't be certain works. And we don't want to expose employers to the risk where they end up rejecting a qualified candidate for a job because the list says that that person's an illegal immigrant, and it turns out that the person isn't an illegal immigrant. That wouldn't be fair for the employee and would probably get the employer in trouble as well. So I think the goal right now is to let's continue to see if we can perfect the E-Verify system. Let's make sure that we have safeguards in place to prevent the kind of scenarios that I talked about. But let's also not lose sight of some of the other components to immigration reform. For example, making sure that DREAM Act kids who have grown up here in the United States, think of themselves as Americans, who are not legal through no fault of their own, and who are ready to invest and give back to our country and go to school and fight in our military and start businesses here, let's make sure that those kids can stay. We need to have a more balanced approach than just a verification system. Okay? I don't have an answer as to whether the investigation is completed yet, and it wouldn't be appropriate for me to comment on the investigation if it's not yet completed. Okay.
Bombshell in the Fast and Furious scandal, a new report revealing that the Obama administration was far more involved in concealing information than previously thought. Fox News' William Lajeunesse is here with the details. William, it was bad enough before. What have we learned now?
You know, David, the headline coming out of this morning's House Oversight Committee report and meeting was that the Obama administration repeatedly lied to the family of Brian Terry and Congress, admitting to a judge that it used a claim of executive privilege simply to hide embarrassing documents from the public.
The department's belated admission that those 64,000 pages were not privileged puts the gold seal of authenticity on the House's bipartisan vote to hold the Attorney General in contempt.
The 300-page report is the most compelling of many so far, since it is based on documents withheld by the president. From day one, it said the ATF and DOJ officials circled the wagons, lying to discredit anyone who questioned their story. And within hours of Brian Terry's death, federal agents knew the guns at the scene belonged to them, but stonewalled Congress. At least 4 times the administration lied to Terry's family about the weapons that killed Brian. And finally, by staying quiet, the Border Patrol equipped Terry's team with non-lethal beanbags to fire first, not knowing the administration helped arm the RIP crew with assault rifles.
If only Mr. Brewer, the DOJ attorneys, and the ATF bosses in Phoenix Field Division had not kept this dirty little secret from the U.S. Border Patrol. I believe that if Brian Terry and his team had known this information, chances are Brian would be alive today.
Only one possible motivation remains for all of those involved who have covered up Fast and Furious. That is to conceal their own shame and disgrace, quite possibly, their crime.
Now, the report says Attorney General Eric Holder spent more time spinning this story than tracking the lost weapons. He also reportedly approved efforts to discredit whistleblower John Dodson.
I was lied about, disparaged, publicly attacked, ridiculed, libeled. I've been transferred 11 times, denied promotion, ostracized, barred from government workplaces, and banned from public buildings.
Lawmakers noted no one from the ATF or the Justice Department, David, were fired or seriously disciplined for the cover-up.
Unbelievable. But